There's a whole fleet of them.
This morning, a report that the government cannot explain those mysterious objects caught on video by the military.
Considering all of these UFO reports and the reports that some of our warships were swarmed by drones recently, isn't it possible that we've already built some of these insane aircraft ourselves? This is exactly the kind of place where you would expect radical new military developments to occur. Developments like the stealth F-117 Nighthawks, which were hidden in perfect secrecy here for almost 10 years. And futuristic developments that I'll explain later that involve technology that sounds like they came straight from alien spacecraft. Now, there's been a ton of media coverage since the Pentagon declassified videos of UFOs taken by military pilots.
Splashed. Mark bearing and range.
To video allegedly showing one of the U.S. Navy's stealth ships tracking an unidentified object in the sky.
Then on the heels of that came news about an American aerospace engineer named Salvatore Pais, who submitted on behalf of the Navy dozens of futuristic patent applications, such as a conceptual craft that uses an inertial mass reduction device, an outline for a plasma compression fusion device, and a high-frequency gravitational wave generator that could be used for advanced propulsion. Dr. Pais developed these futuristic concepts while working for the U.S. Naval Warfare Center Aircraft Division. But here's why I included Dr. Pais in this episode. He recently left the U.S. Navy and moved over to the Air Force.
10, 9,
Pistol start.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Which means that he and his futuristic research could be embraced by the teams of engineers already in place at Area 51 and at Nevada's Tonopah Test Range. The Tonopah Test Range is a top secret facility in the northern reaches of the Nevada Test and Training Range, a massive 4,500 square mile region that includes the legendary Yucca Flats Nuclear Test Site, Area 51, Creech Air Force Base, and Nellis Air Force Base, home of the Red Flag Combat Training Exercise.
107 pound radar contact 7 3/4 miles. 07 show my 77.
But before going forward, I want to have a look back at a top-secret operation that took place in 1963. It was called Operation Roller Coaster. Its purpose was to study how plutonium would disperse after an accidental explosion. The first test was called Double Track. It took place 13 miles west of the Tonopah Test Range runway on May 15, 1963. Afterward, there was an extensive cleanup operation, contaminated debris was collected, and the most radioactive areas were fenced off. Were Operation Roller Coasters tests nuclear detonations, or were they something else?
They were actually something else. They were taking a conventional explosive material, something like TNT, and then blowing up what would be a very light nuclear warhead that contained radioactive material.
So they weren't trying to set off the atom bomb accidentally?
No, they were not even looking to start what would be a chain reaction.
A second study in 1977 found additional radioactive debris as far as 2,500 feet away from ground zero. This material was collected and buried in trenches that were dug inside the fenced-off areas. Then, in 1993, the Department of Energy hired a private contractor to re-examine the test sites in order to find areas that might need environmental restoration, and at an animal burial site near the double-track test site. The contractors did encounter significant levels of radioactive americium-241. The Clean Slate 2 and Clean Slate 3 sites will remain contaminated until the state of Nevada and the federal government can agree on the corrective actions that are needed.